I think it's safe to say that Shrek is definitely DreamWorks' baby. Every single person in the universe knows of Shrek, for better or worse. It's a franchise that started off so great with its biting satire at Disney and soon became this. Let's check out all the movies and see which is the best. It's Shrek 2. But we'll get there. For the one person who doesn't know about Shrek out there, who lives on the planet under a rock, Shrek is about an ogre who likes to be alone because nobody likes him. They judge him before they even get to know him. He meets a funny donkey and sets out on a mission to save a princess. Rewatching this movie all these years later turned out to be shocking how much it holds up with how petty it is towards Disney films. It takes the innocence of Disney and completely screws it over. Basically, it's like if Disney finally lost its virginity and became a hoe. Throughout the movie, we see the mama bear with the kid and his father, and they're in prison, right? But then at Shrek's swamp later, we see the baby and the father and they're just sad, but the mom isn't even there. Later, we see the mom as a rug in Farquaad's castle while he's jacking it to Fiona. Like, it's not necessary to be in the movie, but it's details like this that show damn, DreamWorks ain't messing around, and I love that. This movie blends everything so well, especially the family movie aspect. Its adult jokes are executed greatly for adults. There's so many innuendos that make this movie timeless. As a kid, I didn't know what the hell this meant.
Hey, don't do that. That's my tag. That's my personal tag. Well, you gonna tear it off.
Interspecies dating? The world really is progressing every single day. For the time, it had a great lesson about how you should never judge someone on the outside. Another element that doesn't get enough recognition is how well Fiona's spell is foreshadowed.
You're not exactly what I expected.
Well, maybe you shouldn't judge people before you get to know them.
Shrek as a character is handled delicately and it's executed well. He's mean and extremely sarcastic.
It's hideous! Oh, that's not very nice. It's just a donkey.
But throughout the movie and bits and pieces of the well-written dialogue, he subtly tries to explain to Donkey what it's like to be him. As a kid, it didn't mean a lot, and we all know he's a meme now, but the onion layer scene is actually vital to his character growth, especially the night scene where Shrek explains to Donkey how he truly feels. It's beautiful and extremely sincere character development.
Hey, what's your problem, Shrek? What you got against the whole world anyway, huh?
Look, I'm not the one with the problem, okay? It's the world that seems to have a problem with me. People take one look at me and go, ah, help, run! A big, stupid, ugly ogre. They judge me before they even know me. That's why I'm better off alone.
The original Shrek's downfall, however, yes, before you get your pitchforks, let me explain. Shrek is not a perfect movie. The final act falls flat into the cliche of misunderstandings from the two main characters' sad walking montage. It drags the film down a bit in quality, but the final musical number is a blast, but it did bring on the dance party ending cliche for every animated movie by DreamWorks. Shrek is a classic for a reason. It perfectly blends in a heartwarming story while having satisfying satire towards the House of Mouse. Now, let's get serious for a moment. No jokes. Shrek 2 is without a doubt one of the best sequels in history. Not memeing, not joshing you, not tugging your chain or whatever you want to say. Shrek 2 is one of the best sequels of all time. A sequel should build upon the characters from the first film. Here we have Shrek, who is now happily married to Fiona. Things go south, however, when Shrek meets her human parents that sent her away to a castle. Shrek goes out of his way to find a potion to become human to make Fiona happy and her family. And this one scene that gets overlooked really shows how much Shrek loves Fiona. You have this ugly, smelly ogre who was always alone, closed off from the world, who found love in the first film. Now the movie progresses his character naturally by showing how far he would go to make the woman he fell for happy. In a way, it's Disney-esque, but Shrek 2 still manages to find a way to make it unique and intimate with Shrek's character arc.
Here's to us, Fiona.
Shrek, you drink that, there's no going back.
I know.
But no more wallowing in the mud?
I know.
And no more itchy butt crack?
I know.
But you love being an
I
ogre.
know. But I love Fiona more.
Sequels usually add new characters, and this is the film that added the best character in the franchise. Puss in Boots is a scene stealer.
I must hold on before I too go totally mad. Shrek? Donkey? Too late.
The fairy godmother is the franchise's best villain. She's really intimidating and her vocal performance is amazing, but I'll get to that later. The world building has improved tremendously. Far, Far Away looks like a place in a film that I would actually visit in real life. The locations visited in the movie are much more iconic than the previous movie and a lot more entertaining. We do still have the third act problem where it's a big misunderstanding and we get a sad walking segment, but you know why I can overlook it? Do you really want to know why this doesn't bother me?
Hit it!
Because we get I Need a Hero, and this is without a shadow of a doubt one of the best scenes in animation. The beautiful slow choreography and rocking voice of the godmother singing her own rendition of the song that juxtaposes beautifully with Shrek and friends storming the castle. The scene cuts back and forth as the villains and the heroes close in on their goals and destination. While in the back, Jennifer Saunders goes hard on the song and makes the cover miles better than the original. You cannot look me in the eye and say the original version of I Need a Hero is better than Shrek 2. You just can't. It's not possible. Shrek 2 is a sequel that improves on the characters, settings, story, entertainment, and jokes in every possible way. Shrek 2 is unironically a masterpiece. I'm gonna be honest, I really don't want to talk about Shrek the Third. I already did a video on it and I'm just gonna show my frustrations during that video for a bit because I don't want to waste my energy on this movie again. If Shrek the Third can be lazy, so can I.
Because this is the only Shrek movie that doesn't start off with a book opening. It's like, right off the bat, they wanted this movie to fail. Where the first two Shrek movies shine with solid drama and nice jabs at fairy tale tropes, this one is just written poorly. I think they thought of jokes first and then thought of a story, because this movie isn't written well, especially when it comes to the comedy. But DreamWorks, y'all killing me with this!
Well, somebody better be dying.
I'm dying.
Comedy. He dies, but then he comes back. And then he dies, and then he comes back. And then he dies, and it's supposed to be serious. And it's... What is this movie? This isn't Loki. Stop reviving him over and over again. There's this scene where he tries to relate to him with cool slang.
I mean, I'm not trying to get up in your grill or raise your roof or whatever. But what I am screaming is,
$19 Fortnite card. Who wants it?
I mean, if it doesn't groove or what I'm saying ain't straight tripping, just say, oh,
What the dog doing?
Shrek the Third is the worst Shrek movie and one of the worst DreamWorks movies of all time. The Shrek movies aren't entirely original, but what made them captivating nonetheless was the approach that they made to the fairy tale genre, where Disney made it fluffy and delicate and light. The Shrek series wiped its ass with the fairy tale tropes.
Anyways, you can see how much I don't like this movie. Here's what I would have done, okay? The two main character arcs feel incredibly separated from each other. Shrek has to become a king, so he goes to find Fiona's cousin so he can be next in line instead of him, but also he's about to become a father. It's all extremely disjointed. Now, me personally, DreamWorks, let me tell you how old Papa Trey would do it. Forget about Artie, just scrap his whole character. He's gone. Forget about him.
And Gwen, oh Gwen, I've always loved you.
Ew.
Charming gains magic powers from Fairy Godmother's wand. His powers are different though. He can teleport stuff and other things like that. We learn more about the princesses and how important they are to the kingdom. Fiona tells Shrek he is going to be a dad right before King Harold dies, like literally right before. Okay, follow along, keep following along. King Harold dies. Shrek, all scared, announces to the entire kingdom he will be next in line. The kingdom freaks out because an ogre is about to be king. They freak out because a long time ago, a group of ogres from their own kingdom called Swampy Way battled with Far Far Away. Now this is where it gets a little interesting. During the panic, Charming kidnaps Princess Fiona and the others, threatening to Shrek that if he doesn't become king, he will kill them all or something. I don't know. He teleports Shrek back to his swamp with Puss and Donkey. They have to make their way back to Far Far Away, but things get complicated when the gang finds Swampy Way. and find a ragtag team of ogres and their king, Shrek's dad. Now Shrek learns about what it's like to be a king while also being internally conflicted because his dad was a horrible father to him. And that, ladies and gents, is a masterpiece. I'll be taking my $150 million in cash now. It's better than La La Land. Good idea. Shrek Forever After isn't as memorable as Shrek 1 or 2, but it's automatically better by default because it's not the other movie I forgot the name of. Shrek Forever After is about Shrek, of course, who is mentally tired of every day being the same as a family man. With the help of Rumpelstiltskin, he gets warped into a world where he is still a scary ogre and his family is gone. Now, out of all the character arcs from Shrek, this one is probably one of the more weaker ones. It kind of makes his character development backtrack because with each movie except the third, we see him grow more and more. Then this one makes him go back a little with how selfish he is. It's great to see that Shrek is a flawed character, but this is his one arc that makes him feel selfish, which is the point. Don't get me wrong, but it didn't really sit well with me. The alternate version of Far Far Away is incredible. The action set pieces is some of the best of the franchise. Seeing Fiona as a warrior and leader of a tribe is a neat direction to take her character. The animation is the best of the main franchise, and I really enjoy the callbacks to the first film. They are forced but also quick and fast and never stalls to reference the better movie of the franchise. Rumpelstiltskin is an amazing villain and is on par with the fairy godmother. Walt Dorn gives an incredible vocal performance. Alongside Shrek's iconic Scottish accent, I would argue to say he has the best vocal performance of any character in the series. Rumple has such a wide range of emotions: sly, condescending, happy, slightly mad, calm mad, and so much more, and the vocal work is incredible.
Silly little ogre, you don't get it, do you? You see, you were never born. You never met Fiona. Your kids don't exist.
How's that for a metaphysical paradox? Looks like you got exactly what you wanted. Happy Ogre Day!
Rumple!
Shrek Forever After isn't nowhere as good as the first two movies, but it's a serviceable final chapter to a great animated franchise. Alright, let's rank them. I got places to be. Oh, yeah.
You hit me in the head with a guitar?
You're a woman?
Okay, Puss in Boots takes place way before he met Shrek. He's still an outlaw who teams up with an old childhood friend who stabbed him in the back, Humpty Dumpty, and a tough kitty called Kitty Softpaws. Together they go on a journey to find the magic beans that build a beanstalk that has a castle which contains a ton of gold. Now I'm gonna be honest, Cars 2 came out the same year this did. It was awful because they made the focus on an entirely annoying character, which sounds more like a DreamWorks thing to do. Puss in Boots, however, is without a doubt the best character to have made a spin-off for. It makes it even better that there is no tie-in to Shrek at all, so it gives him and the movie a more independent feeling. Jack and Jill's designs are menacing, but they are really forgettable side villains. Humpty Dumpty gets annoying with his comedy, but his emotional story with Puss in Boots is heartfelt. The problem is that near the end of the first act of the movie, we figure out the origin of Puss in Boots and his difficult relationship with Humpty. It's executed well and gives us deeper connection to the furry lover himself, but the flashback takes up about 30% of the movie. It drags the movie's pacing, and honestly, Kitty Sawpaw's reaction to the end of the story is me exactly every time I watch this film.
These lies cost me everything. Hey!
I'm awake.
Puss in Boots has incredible set pieces, and I believe it's the shortest movie in the franchise, making it a really breezy experience. It's very entertaining, and I kind of have a personal connection with this movie because it's the first one I ever saw in IMAX 3D. There are moments that drag, but this is a good spin-off for an amazing side character. In terms of sequels, we all know that Shrek 2 was one of the best of all time, and what came after wasn't nowhere as good as the first two films in the series. The curse has finally been lifted. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is the second best sequel in the Shrek franchise. Like, holy shit. Like, I'm freaking out. Puss in Boots The Last Wish was actually really good. The original film came out 11 years ago, and I honestly thought DreamWorks would have forgotten about the first spin-off. But no, they actually build upon the first movie. For instance, we see what Kitty and Puss's relationship is like now after the events of the first film. It's not even progressed in a cheesy way, and it's really intriguing how this film finds a way to tie into their relationship, Puss's character arc in the previous and current film. The Shrek series and even the first Puss in Boots always went for realistic animation. DreamWorks lately has been experimenting with the visuals in their movies, and I was scared to see how this film's departure from the original animation would have turned out. They have taken a lot more into the Spider-Verse animation approach, and honestly, it feels like they borrowed it here, but also it works really well. It takes some time to get used to though. The movie has so many beautiful, vibrant colors. It looks constantly extravagant. The fur and hair on the characters still have that Shrek realism, but the action is where the movie truly turns into the Spider-Verse factor, and it looks cool and slick. Puss in Boots gives us thought-provoking character development to one of Shrek's greatest allies, and a darker, visually pleasant adventure that improves on the original. The Shrek series has had its ups and downs, but overall together, it's a very competent franchise. Let's rank them.